help us to scale up to 100 gigawatts by 2047. And again, I want the House to recall, today we are only at 8 gigawatts as compared to 98.7 gigawatts of America already. Now, there was a question raised, my friend has gone out, Mr. Manish Tiwari ji, about the foreign investment or the private sector role, and also about the accountability with respect to the supplier versus operator. Let me explain to you, to the House and to the people of my country, my people in my constituency, through you, sir. If you look at in America, the private sector companies, Constellation Energy, their nuclear capacity is 10.7 gigawatts in the private sector. Duke Energy, 10.7 gigawatts, whereas my country today is still at 8 gigawatts. Vistra Corporation, 6.4 gigawatts in USA. Tennessee Valley Authority, 8.3 gigawatts. Extra energy is 6.2 gigawatts. I can go on. I have a very long list of private sector, and this is the role that private sector companies, while following the security protocols in America, are producing. Each company is producing as much as my entire country is producing. Sir, should not my country grow? Should not my country produce more? And we are on that path. We should do that. And, sir, when we are marching ahead, there are several people who will comment, but we should not look at them. We should march ahead. Sir, Honorable Chairperson, sir, nuclear energy offers 3 decisive advantages to us. First, it provides reliable baseload power for more than 60 years. Second, it contributes significantly to carbon reduction. Third, a robust nuclear ecosystem catalyzes high-end manufacturing, research, and skilled employment. I would like to emphasize on this word, skilled employment. I'll come to it again, sir. Honorable Chairperson, sir, I wholeheartedly welcome and support the emphasis this bill places on research, development, and innovation, especially in regards to using nuclear energy for research into next-generation technologies focused on healthcare and agriculture. Clause 9 of the bill promotes research, development, design, and innovation in matters related to nuclear energy and radiation for peaceful purposes, while Clause 38 allows for patents in for the same. This is in line with the government support for more than 15,000 crores for research, development, and innovation, further spurring the growth of scientific temper and research in our country. Finally, sir, with respect to the liability and accountability, my observation is, all of us are here can recall, the then Congress government of the 1980s, under incompetence in handling the Bhopal gas disaster, the world's worst industrial disaster, which led to generations of thousands of families suffering while those responsible for the disaster were allowed to fly out of the country. Exactly from this point of view, today we are now talking about this great bill where the entire onus is on the operator. No operator can run away from this country, and that is, he has to literally take care of all this. So therefore, right from the day one, from the day of supplies itself, the operator will have to be very, very careful, not only from installation of the plant, but also to the operation and the process of the entire process of generating power. Finally, sir, my final suggestion is, I would like to make a request to you, sir, through the Honorable Minister and to the government. We should also consider launching skill development initiatives and infrastructure to train our youth and give them the proper tools to benefit from us opening our doors of nuclear energy to the international markets. Sir, you may recall when the IT bubble came into our country in 1990s, because we have trained our youth much in advance. We're also now talking about cloud. Because we are training our youth much in advance, not only we are taking care of the requirements in our country, but we are also sending our youth all over the world, all over the globe, to take care of this industry, sir. So therefore, my request is, while BARC and NPCIL operate training schools, fellowships, and retraining schemes for engineers, scientists, and technicians. We must boost their efforts by upgrading and expanding the existing skill development programs of public infrastructure. Our youth should be trained to contribute globally in this industry also. In this spirit, sir, I would like to propose establishing a center of excellence in nuclear energy research and skilling in my home state, Andhra Pradesh, and new training programs and skill centers across our country, especially in my constituency, Bapatla, sir. Finally, in conclusion, sir, Dr. J. Babaji once famously said, "I believe in excellence. It is not enough to be good. We must be the best. Our youth should be the best." Inspired by this spirit and encouraged by our NDA government's strong track record under the leadership of our Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji over the last decade, I stand in support of this bill and our vision for Atmanirbhar Vikasit Bharat and Swarnandhra Pradesh. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, Honorable Member. Mananiya Sadasya Srimati Supriya Sule ji.
Thank you, sir, for giving me the opportunity to speak on the sustainable harnessing and advancement of nuclear energy of transforming India bill, sir. Sir, I would like to quote Dr. Homi Babaji. No power is costlier than no power. So I appreciate the efforts of the Honorable Minister to bring in this bill today, because I think we all need to evolve with time, change with time, policies have to change with time. But I'm not sure whether the approach of this bill is what we expected from this government. Well, like my learned friend Manish Tiwari ji said, I would like today, when we are talking about nuclear energy, the forefathers who have really contributed in the last 7-8 decades of India's growth story, starting from Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru ji, who actually sowed the seed of this new India that we all live in today. Dr. Homi Bhabha, Vikram Sarabhai, Dr. Manmohan Singh ji, and I wish my learned friend Krishna Teni ji, in his speech, he talked about the thorium changes that he wants. Yes, this government has contributed, but there are thousands and thousands of scientists, and I would like to put it on record, it was Dr. Anil Kakodkar who actually thought of moving from uranium to thorium. He is one of the tallest leaders as a scientist in India who has first thought of this idea, and now the government is taking it forward. I appreciate the efforts, but I think we must put it on record that yes, the government does it, but the real man behind this entire technology change is Dr. Anil Kakodkar. Sir, and now something else that India should be very proud of, and I'd like to put it on record, that recently in October, Professor Sunil Gupta was elected the President of International Union of Pure and Applied Physics during the 33rd Assembly held in China for a 3-year term, where this was the only job in the last 70 years which Dr. Homi Bhabha got it, and this is the first time that we should all be proud that Professor Sunil Gupta, a proud Indian today, leads the global change in this nuclear power. So it's something very big for India, I think. In the Atomic Energy Act 1962 and the Civil Liability Nuclear Damage Act 2020, the amendment that has been proposed by this government. So I want to ask 2 questions to the Honourable Minister, since he's here, and my learned friend Shashank ji is also here, who is very, very good technically. I would like to seek 2 clarifications from him about this bill. In his speech, he said that he doesn't want monopolies. So I like that thought, that there should be no monopoly. But I would, with full humility, say, who is this monopoly you're talking about? It's the nuclear power, the NPCLI, which is the Nuclear Power Corporation of India, who had a monopoly, which is one of our PSUs, which has always been in profit. You want Indigo to have a monopoly and hold this country for ransom, but for a PSU like Nuclear Corporation of India, there is no sympathy in this government. The government must clarify when your lead speaker says that, oh, we don't want monopolies. So when it's private, I'm not against privatization at all. Let me put it on the record. We are a very modern party. Mr. Pawar has always talked about liberalization. So let me put it on record, but please do not hold up PSUs who have built this nation and say they are monopolies. They are not the monopolies. It's the oligarchs who are the monopolies, not the government of India in the last 70 years who's been a monopoly. Another thing that he mentioned, which is very important, we need to put it on record, since you want private players to invest in this company, it's very important to clarify. He said R&D will remain with government. Will R&D only remain with government? That needs to be clarified, because it came from the Treasury bench that R&D will remain. So I seek a clarification from the Honourable Minister that it's very important that when a Treasury bench says that it will remain, it's very, very alarming to hear that. The other few issues which need to know that NPCIL, the Nuclear Power Corporation of India, has done outstanding work in this country. They started the fleet mode. We've had amazing reactors that this government has built over the last 7 decades. So every government has contributed to this growth story of nuclear power. But I would like to ask, what is the future that the government plans? Because Dr. Kakodkar proposed uranium to thorium. Mr. From Chandra Babuji's party, he was talking about uranium to thorium. I appreciate what you said, sir. But what is the plan this government has specifically made? Because this whole fuel price, why are we looking for this energy mix to bring the cost down? Now, we have a lot of thorium in this country. And one biggest asset that the thorium has is it is proliferation resistant. So if it is resistant, then are we going to promote it is a clarification, because all the people who you want to invest, we need to know, because he was talking about only American corporations when he was taking names. I mean, I'm a little worried after hearing that. I'm not against any country. Anybody who invests for the growth of India, we must, with changing times, the world has become flat, sir. So I would like to say that all those American corporations' names were quoted. So I'm a little scared and worried that Professor Roy said maybe Indians are going to benefit, but after hearing an ally speech was only Americans benefited. I don't mind as long as Indians are benefited, but I hope India benefits. We don't mind foreign companies benefiting, but we must be very clear about that. So another case is, I would like to highlight, sir, 2-3 very small points. I would like to clarify, because Jaitapur is in you spoke about Tamil Nadu, the growth in, we should compliment the Tamil Nadu government for all the work they have done in nuclear with the government of India. But Jaitapur is a project which came in my state, sir. Jaitapur is a project which, Jaitapur nuclear power project, which still, you have also been in power, we've started it. But in the last 11 years, somehow this government has not been able to take it forward. So if you're looking at growth story, what about Jaitapur and how are you going to do it? So talking about office, I would like to give one small point, since I will just make 2 very short, I won't repeat any other points. Sir, when you talked about the right to recourse, about suppliers' accountability, I would like to say the supplier liability. The supplier is as guilty if there is a crisis. It cannot be a supplier immunity. And I would like to quote Sushma ji and Arun ji. With great respect, I would like to quote Arun ji's statement. Well, he had also said the same thing, so I want to remind this government about what Sushma ji and Arun ji said. It was in 2010. He was the LOP in Rajya Sabha, and Arun ji had said that in the Supplier Immunity Act, he fought to remove the word and to ensure suppliers cannot escape the law. Okay. My point is the supplier has to be liable. So it is supplier liability. There cannot be supplier immunity. So much material goes into this. So please don't do it for us, but at least do it for what this party stands for, because your tallest leaders have been Sushma ji and Arun ji, who have actually brought you to power. So please don't pack that. One last 2 small points are this capping of financial liability of operators. How can you put a cap of 3,000? It is 3,000 crores, sir. It's a request to you, because I don't want anything to happen, but if anything happens, how will you cap it at 3,000 crores? I think that's how will you calculate it at 3,000 crores? How have you come to this magic number is my question to the Honourable Minister. Talking about the autonomy of the regulator has to be very, very strong. You are bringing in safety measures. And
please,
I will talk about two very small points which nobody else has made, sir. Just very small. Now, decommissioning liability. These are very 2 small points nobody else has said, sir. Decommissioning of liabilities. I hope every investor comes and does well in this country. But if we ever have to decommission a plant, sir, what is the safety that you have put into this bill? Because if a private player comes, when NPCIL does decommissioning, they do an extraordinarily good job. What is the guarantee that a private player will be as careful?
Okay,
because the toxic cleanup is very, very critical. And sir, in RTI, last 30 seconds, sir, in RTI, concerns regarding transparency in the bill, clause 39, does not allow RTI questions in this bill partially. I understand. If it is of national security, please don't reply to us. But if there are private players, where is the question of national security? So this RTI point, sir, we have a right to information. You say that it's a transparent and an open government.
Okay.
So what is there to hide in this government?
Okay,
आप
Honourable
जवाब
Member,
दे
please
सकते
conclude.
हैं ना, खोल के जवाब दीजिए, आकर छुपाने के लिए कुछ नहीं. So I request this government that whatever you are bringing in, please,
Okay.
I consider it's a very important bill. I understand it's in the interest of the larger interest of India. I recommend that please send it to the JPC.
Okay. Thank
Let's
you.
deliberate more, think about it, and bring
Maranaya
in a strong
Sadasya
bill in a
Shri
time-bound manner.
Arvind
Thank you.
Sawanji.
Thank you very much.
Arvind Sawanji.
It's okay.
Huh?
Thank you, Chairman, sir.
Oh, you're speaking immediately.
The Sustainable Harnessing and Advancement of the Nuclear Energy and Transformation India Bill. I would like to express my views on it, particularly when you say that in the beginning itself, whereas India is having achieved self-reliant capability in production and use of nuclear energy, recognizes the potential it offers towards rapidly meeting the ever-increasing energy needs of the country to further research and development. The half portion is correct. But when we have achieved it, why we are in such a hurry to grant permissions to all private sectors who are here? Number of people must have spoken about it. I will just point it out, certain things which are to be taken into consideration, because the bill, the Shanti Bill penalizes the operators in case of a nuclear accident and asking them to compensate on the basis of the size of the plant operated. It's really a surprising one. How can you relate the size of the operation with the damage?
Exactly.
There is really, we have experienced what has happened in Bhopal. Union Carbide, how they escaped from all those things. They could not be penalized till date. And really here also some provisions are there, which I'm going to point it out to you, sir. Particularly, I'll go directly because I know the time, you won't permit me a lot of time, but then I'll go to that. What is required and what is missing in here? Dilution of a liability and accountability. Removal of a supplier liability means what exactly? Victims may not be fully compensated. Faulty suppliers may escape responsibility. Risk is shifted for corporation to citizens of the state. Safety risk with private operators. Nuclear power is not an ordinary commercial activity. Profit-driven operators may compromise on safety unless oversight is extremely strong. Low compensation ceiling. Then the regularity, independence question. Is the nuclear regulator truly independent from operators and the government? Without autonomy, safety, enforcement may weaken. Public consent and federal concern. Sir, we are facing in Maharashtra, Jaitapur, you know it. The concern of the public, the consent of the public is opposing it, and still we are forcing them. And that is what we need is that the fisherman community is really having, if they are having a fear about it, what is about the tomorrow, what is about the fate of their life. If the water which enters into the sea has a very high temperature, and then naturally the temperature of the water is going to increase. And if the temperature of the water increases, it is going to reflect on the production of the fish over there, and it is going to reflect on the earnings of the fishermen over there on the coastal line. And that is what a very serious issue, and that is the reason they was opposing it consistently, and therefore public hearings should be given a nuclear waste is another issue, serious issue. Sir, it has observed, nowadays we are talking about even the electrical vehicles. Nobody thinks about the battery. The battery is not perishable, sir. Who's going to do that? that battery is going to create a problem. We cannot perish the battery, and nobody is having a concern. When I was industry minister, I brought it to the